Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 10. The ones for Texas.
Homes underwater. Homeowners afraid of what's next with more heavy rain on the way.
Also, a much different issue for homeowners on the opposite side of the Metroplex. Ice causing so many problems, they can't even get cell service. Big night tonight for a lot of people. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And I'm Gilma Avalos in for Kaylee O'Kelly while she's on leave. Chief Meteorologist Scott Padgett is tracking more heavy rain chances beginning as soon as overnight. Scott?
Overnight, yeah, absolutely, Gilma. We're going to be seeing more energy shifting into the upper atmosphere, and that's going to mean that we're going to be dealing with more wet weather. And this is what we saw throughout the day today on the Dallas Skycam. The time lapse there, you saw some peaks over Union Tower. Fort Worth finally showing back up after the ice melted and we had those raindrops clear off of the lens. But we do have this aerial flood watch that goes into effect midnight until noon on Saturday. That does include the Metroplex, all the counties indicated in green because of the very saturated ground and more rain on the way. The radar right now shows that we don't have a whole lot of rain happening in parts of North Texas. Some scattered showers out in Kaufman County, Van Zandt County, down through Henderson, Anderson, also Navarro County. So seeing some light rain still holding together. We're going to be dealing, though, with more rain overnight tonight. The Future Sky forecast shows that that rain will continue to work its way on in here, probably by about 3 to 4 o'clock, starting to hear maybe even some rumbles of thunder in some spots because we are going to be dealing with some isolated storms as well as this next energy works its way overhead. So I've zoomed our way on in to parts of Rockwall County where the radar estimated rainfall over the past 72 hours shows anywhere between 6 to almost 7 to 7.5 inches. And we have more rain on the way on this very saturated ground. And that's why that flooding concern continues to go up.
Scotty will talk in just a bit. Meanwhile, an entire North Texas neighborhood closely watching that forecast that you just saw tonight. 21 families already out of their homes, all because the neighborhood lake is overflowing and even more afraid now that they'll have to leave soon.
Andrea Lucia is live along Rockwall Lake, which isn't far from Lake Ray Hubbard.
Yeah, this is Lakeside Drive right here, and as the name implies, all of these homes to my left are usually alongside Rockwall Lake. Tonight, they are in it, and neighbors across the street are worried when the rain returns, their homes will be next.
Can you hold it?
Yeah. Guadalupe Vasquez is filling her car.
That was me.
With priceless possessions.
That whole bag is full of pictures. Yeah.
There's her mother's wedding day portrait and pictures of all her children when they were young.
Like, we need to get everything that is irreplaceable, because we can get clothes whenever we want, but whenever it comes to like pictures of like the past, we have to get those first.
The flooded lake has forced out neighbors across the street. Now her family is debating whether they should leave too.
Because if it starts raining tonight, if we fall asleep, we're not going to know.
I'm scared. It's scary. I'm a child.
I was thinking about school tomorrow and what I need.
A few houses down, 14-year-old Kayleen Delgado is getting prepared.
Yeah, there was water in here.
As her parents clean up water that's been creeping in the back door.
It's actually been rising.
It's been rising?
Yeah.
They hope to be able to stay, but want to be sure they aren't left stranded.
Kind of hard to get out with all the water.
Now, these homes are located in a floodplain, and because of that, the Delgados told me they do have flood insurance. Rockwall Police, meanwhile, have officers stationed here overnight. They're going to be looking out for the homes and the families who are still here. Reporting live in Rockwall, Andrea Lucia, CBS 11 News.
Thank you, Andrea. And if you've ever wondered if your home or property is in a floodplain but just don't know, there's an easy way to check. You can just visit this FEMA website, plug in your address, and a map will pop up. We've shared this link on our website if you're interested. Look in links and numbers on CBSDFW.com.
So flooding the problem there, but it's ice and power outages tonight that have forced volunteers to open an emergency shelter just to the south and west of DFW. At one point, as many as 1,400 homes and businesses in Stephenville had no power. Thankfully, the number's down a little bit tonight, but they're not done. As Marianne Martinez reports, a lot of people are still feeling this big inconvenience.
In Stephenville, the trees have been buckling underneath the weight of ice, causing major outages. Encore crews have been working for several days now trying to restore power to a city that is mostly frozen over. Caleb Schmidt is facing his second night without power in his Stephenville home.
So what I did yesterday is I just watched, I didn't have internet or anything to do, so no cell phone service, so I just watched trees fall all day and just tried to stay warm.
He's going to ride it out, but for this grandma, one night of freezing cold was too much.
And there was all with me in my room.
She and her grandbabies are among the guests keeping warm at the Red Cross shelter set up at the Stephenville Senior Citizen Center.
So we tried to find a place this morning, but all the motels was full.
As many as 1,400 Stephenville residents woke up without power this morning.
There's people that haven't had power in probably 36 hours, something like that.
The fire chief says it's the first time the city has opened a shelter for weather for something not related to a tornado. The fire chief says it could be Sunday or even Monday before power is restored to this entire area. Reporting from Stephenville, Marianne Martinez, CBS 11 News.
Marianne, thank you. Pictures so often help tell the story, and so many of you have shared images with us of the weather conditions and what so many of you are dealing with. We've got a full slideshow put together of the images. If you'd like to check them out, they're on our website, cbsdfw.com.
Piles of trash stacking up at a popular North Texas restaurant. When nearby businesses started complaining, our Jeff Paul went to check it out. And while we were there, a surprise even for us. Jeff Paul is in Deep Ellum with the story you'll only see on CBS 11.
It's one thing to see bags of trash piled high, but when it's at a place where people eat and it's been sitting stacked up for days in the rain,
it's terrible. You know, it's not something that we're proud of.
Ali Bagad is one of the owners at this Fuzzy's Tacos in Deep Ellum.
When I saw those pictures, I didn't even know what to think myself.
It got so bad, the city paid the restaurant a visit today.
Anytime the fire marshal comes, yeah, you're kind of freaking out.
He says with limited space, they partner with a nearby business to use their dumpster.
That got shut down a couple weeks ago because it was being overused by a lot of restaurants.
So they dumped it into the back patio until they could figure out a solution.
This isn't on our employees. You know, I take full blame for this.
Fuzzy showed us its kitchen. City records show it passed their latest health inspections. Bagad says they've now agreed on a deal with a nearby charter school to use its dumpsters moving forward.
It's definitely something that we're glad that we fixed. We're glad that's not going to be a problem anymore.
But some restaurant owners say that's not true. They claim Fuzzy's employees have been dumping trash in their bins without permission or paying for weeks.
Oh, not really.
Bagad disagreed.
I know what we're doing. You know, I know that we're trying as hard as we can to be a good neighbor out here.
But this video recorded just today appears to show the restaurant's GM walking across the street and dumping bags of trash behind Brick and Bones restaurant.
They know it's wrong and it's continuing to happen.
Owner Cliff Edgar says they never gave Fuzzy's permission.
That is Fuzzy's right there.
So we reached out to Fuzzy's owner, Ali Bagad, again.
Just today you said you fixed this, and then we go back and there's trash that should have been dumped.
Bagad told us the GM thought he was dumping it in the charter school's bin, which is a block away, and chalked it up to a mistake and miscommunication.
I don't look at it as miscommunication at all. I just look at it as disrespect.
Edgar says if Fuzzy's truly wants to be a good neighbor, something needs to change.
You're not just reflecting bad on your own business, you're reflecting bad to the neighborhood. So people are offended by it, and it's embarrassing.
Now, the owner of Fuzzy's later texted us this evening saying that he called Brick and Bones to apologize for what happened here with these dumpsters. He also is vowing to work with other nearby business owners to try to move forward from this situation. They tell us, though, tonight that they will believe it when they see it. Reporting live here in Deep Ellum, I'm Jeff Paul, CBS 11 News.
Thank you, Jeff. A 25-year-old man behind bars tonight accused in the road rage shooting death of a U.S. postal worker. According to two men who turned him in, Donnie Farrell killed postal worker Tony Mosby because of road rage. They said Farrell became angry when Mosby made a hand gesture towards their vehicle after they passed him. Then they saw sparks and smoke as the truck crashed.
In the wake of the Florida high school shooting, President Trump today said he fully supports making schools tougher targets for potential gunmen.
These people are cowards. They're not going to walk into a school if 20% of the teachers have guns.
Well, the president backs a plan to arm some teachers, especially, he says, those who might have a military background. President Trump predicts that school shootings would keep on happening until schools become harder targets. And supporters of the president's idea to arm some teachers are pointing to examples here in the state of Texas. In fact, 2013, the Texas School Marshall Plan started allowing staff members to undergo extensive training and become deputized as peace officers. A local representative tells us Texas is proud to set an example, but not everyone believes that this is the right path forward.
We're hopeful that we can begin protecting the rest of the country as children, just like we protected our children in Texas.
This is much beyond
what we are trained to do as teachers.
Mr. Bryan, who you heard from first in that moment there, believes that arming teachers would lead to more violence and fears that even more death and injury could happen in crossfire.
He should have killed the killer. Those words today from an angry sheriff in Florida.
Devastated, sick to my stomach.
The Broward County Sheriff devastated, in his own words, to reveal the deputy assigned to Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School waited outside while inside the gunman shot and killed 17 people. That deputy, Scott Peterson, resigned today after he was suspended without pay for his inactions last Wednesday. 2 other deputies in the Broward County Sheriff's Office are on leave today. The sheriff says they're under investigation as the department looks to see if there's anything more they should have done before last week's shooting. The sheriff's office had at least 23 encounters with Cruz or his family over a 10-year period.
While that entire investigative side played out today, there were hundreds who were gathering in South Florida to honor a hero who was killed in that Parkland school shooting. Football players carried their assistant coach's casket during the funeral for 37-year-old Aaron Feis. Feis was also a security guard at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. He was shot and killed while helping students get to safety during that mass shooting that unfolded.
A threat in a school bathroom. Now 2 North Texas girls are facing some serious charges.
In a moment at 10 o'clock, what students say they saw written on a bathroom mirror.
And you may have heard this year's flu vaccine isn't as effective as years past, but only for some people. The group better protected from the vaccine than usual.
2 Richardson High School students face 3rd-degree felony charges for allegedly leaving a message in a bathroom that put that school on lockdown.
That message said there would be a school shooting this afternoon at the school. Pictures of the message quickly circulated among the students. They said they didn't believe it, but during the lockdown, they felt pretty scared. Now, Richardson police want parents to remind their children about the consequences of making similar threats. A 3rd-degree felony conviction carries a punishment of 2 to 10 years behind bars.
New information about the flu vaccine tonight that has been noticeably less effective this year when compared to normal. A new review finds it is, in fact, much more effective for children specifically this year than adults. The Center for Disease Control found it's about 50% effective at preventing the flu in children compared to about a 35% effectiveness rate normally for everyone. More people in North Texas have died from this year's particularly severe flu season. The Tarrant and Collin County Health Departments both reporting more deaths tonight. That brings their totals for the year up to 30 and 19 respectively. 69 people, as you see, have died in Dallas County this year from the flu, 9 in Denton County. And as they keep saying, and we'll share with you, it is not too late to get a flu shot if you can. The Dallas County Health Department, in fact, is even offering free flu shot clinics. You can find details in our extensive flu guide on our website, cbsdfw.com.
A day after the death of Reverend Billy Graham, people are remembering America's preacher outside of his North Carolina training center. Take a look at the scene today where people left flowers and prayed for Reverend Graham. His body will lie in honor next week at the U.S. Capitol before a private funeral on March 2nd. Former President George H.W. Bush and his wife Barbara announced they will not be able to attend Reverend Graham's funeral. They were close friends. Reverend Graham even joined President Bush on a fishing trip in Maine in 1989. The Bushes regret that they can't attend his funeral. And Reverend Graham's death at the age of 99 was surprising but not shocking. His casket was built in 2006 by unlikely hands. Inmates at Angola Prison in Louisiana built the Reverend's casket at his request. The prison, known as the Alcatraz of the South, is also home to a renowned prison ministry. Inmates called it an honor and said they prayed before working on the casket.
3 days into early voting, and some Texas election officials say that turnout is already exceeding expectations. Democrats in particular said to be voting in pretty large numbers right now, with more Democrats than Republicans casting ballots so far. Early voting does last through next Friday, March 2nd. Primary day, of course, is coming up on Tuesday, the 6th of March. New numbers showing Hurricane Harvey relief in Texas is lagging far behind other states' efforts when they face similar disasters. An analysis found it took almost 4 times as long for Texas flooding victims to get temporary housing when compared to Hurricane Katrina victims. And damage repairs for homes in Houston badly trail how quickly homes were repaired following Superstorm Sandy in the East Coast. Texas took a different approach to recovery than it did during other disasters, we're told, leading to efforts from within the state and relying less overall on FEMA.
And some of us saw a break from the rain, but it's not going to last long, is it?
Not going to last long. We're going to see rain when you wake up tomorrow morning. The kids are not going to want to stand at the bus stop because more rain is on the way. It's going to be a cold rain at that. Taking a look at what's happening for us, at least right now in Midlothian, hard to see pretty far. Visibility is about 4 miles. Temperature still sitting at 38 degrees. So it's been a cool day today. We are still seeing a lot of rain in the next couple of days, and that's going to add on to these totals, at least for Dallas County, the 96-hour precip totals. Near Rowlett, about 6.24 inches. Dallas, 5.18. Cedar Hill, about 5.14. We kind of have a tour also down through parts of Tarrant County for some of the locations that I've sampled here, ranging between 3 to near 5.5 inches in the far northwest sides of Tarrant County, about 3 inches near Keller. If you take a look up in Denton County, the same story, between 3.5 to near 5.5 inches. You see the legend there on the left-hand side of the screen. So we saw a large amount of rain that pushed its way into North Texas the past couple of days. Right now, the radar in motion shows still more shower activity off to the east near parts of Van Zandt County, Kaufman County, some scattered showers. Nothing is severe right now, but we are going to be seeing the rain really increasing as we go through the remainder of the night tonight and into the morning hours, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. The upper level energy will continue to shift its way on in here. So here's that future sky forecast. As a warm front starts to lift its way from the south to the north, we'll have overrunning, so that moisture gets up here, and it's going to be really falling onto a very saturated ground. So that's why there's an area of flood watch in effect from midnight until about noon on Saturday. That does include the Metroplex. You saw those rainfall updates and the rainfall totals at DFW today. About 0.4 of an inch of rain so far this month, about 5 inches, and so far this year almost 6 inches. We're finally up above where we're supposed to be. And you're thinking that's going to help us out with the drought. Yes, it will. But the drought index, actually, it was all calculated and came out Tuesday morning, getting the latest information, still showing a severe drought. That should change next week. Temperatures haven't changed too much tonight, in the upper 30s to the low 40s across the Metroplex, still near the freezing mark in Decatur. We're at 34 in Gainesville to 34 in Bridgeport. So overnight tonight, our temperatures will try to warm up a little bit in some spots, so that's going to help some thawing, especially off in our northwest counties. You're going to start out tomorrow morning in the low 40s, and then temperatures gradually warm their way into the low 50s, but your rain chances sit at 60 to 80%. So the satellite and radar combined shows on the wide view, we have this upper level flow pretty much out of the southwest. So any rain we see goes right back over the same area of land that already saw that rain. And that's where we're going to be dealing with that flooding concern. Here's the future sky forecast through Friday. A lot of rain on the way. Warm front lifts its way through Friday night into Saturday, still seeing the rain around. We're going to be dealing with maybe some instability through the day on Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, and the potential maybe of some strong to possibly severe storms. We're going to be dealing with a marginal risk of severe weather in the Metroplex. Far east counties dealing with that slight risk of some severe storms with maybe some damaging winds and maybe some hail. Saturday, 69, Sunday, 66. And you know what, Doug and Goma? Lots of sunshine on the way, but you know what? I talk so much, we're going to toss a break right here on CBS 11, the ones for Texas weather. We'll be right back. Rain, lots of rain.
Federal internet regulations known as net neutrality will officially end in April. The FCC made it official today, choosing to end the equal treatment of all online data on April 23rd. When net neutrality ends, your internet provider can speed up or slow down access to certain websites. More than 20 states are suing to stop the change.
5-year-old boy safe tonight, very likely alive because of a police officer and another man in the right place at the right time. And it's all on surveillance video. Shows the moment this little boy will fall from the 3rd floor balcony. This is in Egypt. He fell right into that officer who looks like they had a rug, he and the other person, helping break that fall. The boy was not hurt. The officer got a couple of bumps, but otherwise, thankfully, both are okay.
And that's certainly good news. Very few players can say they're a future Hall of Famer, but just as well known for their contributions off the field. What it means for Cowboys tight end Jason Witten recognizing others who are following in his footsteps.
Now, your Nissan Sports Desk.
It takes a minute to realize the magnitude of having an award named after you when you're still an NFL player. The first ever Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year award handed out tonight at the Star, which focuses on excellence on the field being just as special away from the game. Central Florida linebacker Shaquem Griffin, who lost his hand at the age of 4, takes the honor. And who better to give it out than the Cowboys tight end?
It goes so far beyond what he's done on the field. And the kind of person he is, the kind of teammate, the kind of father, the kind of husband, the kind of guy he is in the community. It's just, he's a rare guy.
He's an easy Hall of Famer on the field, but he's an Hall Famer off the field with what he's done in the community, how he's influenced people. The guy's one of a kind.
He's not only a tremendous and amazing football player, but he's even better off the field and what he represents for the Dallas Cowboys and how he walks his walk every day in our community.
As positive as the night was for Jason Witten, what a week for the Mavs. Not in a good way. Allegations of sexual harassment in the office that lasted years and domestic violence toward women, something no one can be proud of, especially the face of the franchise.
I was disgusted when I read the article, obviously, as everybody was. I was shocked about some of the stuff, and so just, really disappointed that our franchise, that my franchise, that stuff like that was going on.
Mark Cuban is a strong believer in extreme ownership, extreme accountability, and he is highly motivated to get this resolved in an expeditious but thorough fashion.
We'll continue to follow this story closely. Meantime, as we follow the Rangers in spring training, Joey Gallo finally enters the season with one primary position. The team's first baseman hopes to grow in the field and remain a force at the plate. If he could hit 41 homers last year, what can he do when he's not looking over his shoulder?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident right now, and I just want to help the team win any way I can. And it's nice to kind of know that I'm going to have a spot on the team this year instead of trying to fight for a spot this year. It's kind of be able to focus on the improvements I need to make to my game without having to worry about if I'm going to get sent down or any of that.
Stars late start on the West Coast facing the Kings, trying to snap that two-game losing streak. Kari Lehtonen has kept the Stars in this one, stopping all 8 shots on goal in the first. No score after 1. Come on, Kari. Need that power play. We need that power play.
We need that Kari to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll be right back.
If I give you $10, could you maybe make it not rain in the morning?
It's going to be a whole lot more than that.
20? 50?
Keep on going, yeah, because I can't change it.
Hey, we got people out here. We can pool our money now.
All right, we can do that. We're still seeing a whole lot of rain that's out there, and overnight tonight, we're going to be seeing those rain chances go up to probably about a 70 to 80% chance through the day on Friday, so have the umbrella close by.
Forget the money. Bag of gummy bears?
I can deal with that.
That would get them. I promise you.
Thank you for watching CBS 11 News.